Seemed to roll around awfully early this morning. Although we really didn't get to bed later than normal. That's 12:30 maybe. Good morning, Morris. Good morning. You can come see Marty now. I've got Tux out of the way. I didn't move Ruby this weekend.
No, she and I forgot I should have washed her yesterday.
Oh, it's okay. It's supposed to thunderstorm today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have wanted that to have happened.
Yeah, she's
got dirty.
Spray
Yeah.
on her, yeah.
Yeah, well, the roads were pretty wet Friday morning.
Yeah, so that's fine. I remember that.
Yeah.
I did wipe the brake dust off.
Thank you for making sure my wheels are in good shape for my drive.
Gotta have clean wheels.
Are you ready? Are you ready for some breakfast? Yeah, but don't bump Panther quite so hard. There she is. Good morning, Ruby. So Ruby did top up her charge to the full 80% overnight. She'd lost something less than 10 miles over the weekend. I got notifications at the fair that she was charging. It's 62 out there. It stayed warm overnight because of the cloud cover. We're supposed to be in the 70s today with a chance of thunderstorms. It's dark, but it looks pretty cloudy out there this morning. I don't know how much sunshine we're going to see today. So far, traffic's moving along pretty good today. Hope it stays that way. Alright, full disclosure here, I just reset Ruby while we were driving down the road because I had to come to a full hard stop for a yellow light, and I was mumbling, to say the least, that I didn't just go through it. But my first reaction normally is to stop. And of course there was nothing unsafe about the stop other than I burned up some brake pad. It wasn't that hard of a stop, but it was plenty forceful. You know, I looked in the rearview mirror, nobody behind me, lights turning yellow. It was timed just such that it was a real tough decision to go or stay put, and I am sure that would have put me in the red for stopping the G's on the car. So, yeah, full disclosure, I rebooted. Guess Tesla's gonna have to fix that and automatically send the data or something every 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, so people can't do that. But other people have been doing it, and well, it doesn't really matter for me right now. I guess I've made a decision that I'm gonna leave on the request for FSD, even though I'm not technically going to get it right now. And I'm sure I'll still look at my driving score every day or other day when I remember to do it. I've already sort of stopped looking every day once I got up to 99 or 100. Unless I have something happen on the road that really gives me pause for concern, I haven't really been paying it too much attention. So my plan is to not stay over-stressed about it. I care. I could stress myself about it, but I'm just going to try to drive well and drive within the parameters, and it is what it is at this point. There's no sense, you know, it's not going to do any good to be even more concerned about it. I'm pulled over here at the St. Monica Teen Center, just near the Bojangles and a mile or less from the school. I have a curiosity about when the data gets sent to Tesla for the safety score. I know it's after a drive, so you've put the car in park, but the actual data showing up in the app for me has seemingly been delayed until I exit the car. Like I have, you know, come home, been in the garage, pulled up the safety score with the car in park, and it's not out there yet. But then I go into the house and sometime later, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 2 hours, I look again and it's out there. So I wanted to exit the car here and get back in and see what, if anything, got written for the safety score. Was it just the part after I left St. Augustine's after I dropped off Johnny, which is when I actually put it into park because I reset it while I was driving, or was it after I actually did the you know, because you really sort of can't tell because it tells you the miles for the trip because it knows the odometer difference, but it doesn't tell you how many of those miles it counted toward that actual score. So I don't know. Anyway, I'll look in a minute and see. So to be clear, I've only reset the car one other time, and it says I drove 3 miles, but it has from 6:11 a.m., which is when Dawn moved the car out of the garage, until 7:31 a.m. as the duration for this trip, which is a little odd. And it says it was a drive-through profile, which is true because Johnny, as I turn into St. Augustine's, he switches from Marianne to drive-through, and then when I leave St. Augustine's, I switch back so that I can use the mirrors to see on that very narrow entranceway there where I am. At any point, today's safety score is 100 so far. I did say I wasn't going to look and be as stressed about it, right? I did say that. Yeah, I thought I said that. I hope to continue. I hope to go with that plan. All right, one more thing before I go down the road. So there was this article in USA Today about a study about the cost of driving an EV. And let's just say that I basically totally dislike all media now, because instead of there being like the couple of pages in the newspaper where it says opinions, and you know you're clearly reading an opinion, and you can either choose to care about that or to avoid it. Well, it seems like a lot of reporting today is all opinion. It's one of the reasons I stopped reading Electrek. Presenting data for me to make an informed decision about is good, but going over the line to the point where it's, I guess he does try, Fred, to say where it's opinion or not, but it's like, sure, say there's a study out there, but I don't know, you just got to be so careful about how you present it. I feel like the media is trying to lead us in some direction that they feel is where they want us to be, at least sometimes. Not all media, but a lot of media. Anyway, I digress. Back to this USA Today report. It was on a study about the true cost of EV driving, and it basically admitted that they were so proud that this particular study emphasized how unpredictable and costly it was to charge away from home. Okay, well, I'm not going to debate the cost of charging away from home being more expensive than charging at home. And I'm not even going to debate that the cost of charging away from home can approach the cost of filling up your tank with gas. But we're not just talking Tesla here. We're talking Electrify America and ChargePoint and other charging networks out there, systems out there. So not going to debate that. And you guys know that Ruby has free lifetime supercharging. So obviously I never pay away from home from her. So I'm going to, full disclosure, I might also be a little biased on it. And Jules currently doesn't pay either because we have referral miles for Jules that are good like until October of 2022. So for right now, we're not. And it might influence our charging sometimes if we had to pay with Jules. We'll see after October of next year if we're influenced. But I went and I pulled all the data out of Tesla 5 for Ruby, and let me see, without having it in front of me, if I can quote it correctly. But Ruby's at approximately 87,000 miles, and we've paid close to lifetime for all 87,000 miles. We've paid slightly over $3,000 in electricity. And that sounds like a lot, right? But remember, 4 years. And it turned out to be, and we already knew that it costs 0.037 cents. So rounded up, we can say 4 cents, or we can make it sound pretty and say 3 cents. But it costs approximately 4 cents a mile for Ruby. And you guys know that and that's expected based on our average lifetime watt hours per mile, which prior to updating the MCU was near 360, but it's closer to 350 since then. That probably has to do with not as many summer and winter seasons all mixed together there, because the watt hours per mile is better in the spring and the fall and even the summer than it is in the winter because of the heater. Totally another topic though. So at any point, you know, it's costing about 4 cents a mile for Ruby. And I went through the same calculations. Jules is a little over 10,000, going like 11,000 miles. And I forget what we spent, but I did the division there, and it was 0.027 cents per mile. So we'll say 3 cents per mile for Jules. Obviously the Model Y is much more efficient than the X, so it was totally expected that it would be about 1 cent per mile cheaper to drive the Model Y than it would be to drive the Model X. Well, gas here is currently $3.29 a gallon. I know, out in California it's absurd the amount you're paying right now in comparison to the rest of the country. But I went and I did the same miles for Ruby, 35 miles per gallon ICE car, not 25 or 45, but 35, and the same and the $3.29 a gallon and the same number of miles, 87,023 was the math I did, and it came out to 0.094. Okay, so I think it was 4, it might have been 6, I don't remember. But anyway, so the difference between 4 cent and 9 cent, or 3 cent and 9 cent, or 4 cent and 10 cent is significantly more. So Jules was like, we've paid 300 and change for electricity with Jules, and we would have paid over 900, going on $1,000 and change for gas for Jules had we been a 35 mile per gallon ICE car at $3.29 a gallon. So my point was that most people drive, let's just say, somewhere between 15 and 50 miles a day. I'm driving between 90 and 110. I know I'm above average. But anyone that drives even a Nissan Leaf at 50 miles a day, that drives just locally to their school or their work and around town, let's say they do that 6 days a week, and even Saturday they might go someplace where they needed to charge once. They're going to be able to do all their charging at home almost all the time, which is what we do. We're in the upper like 98-99% of all of our charging has been on our home charger, and I think that's a very typical driving. Now we've got people that are on the road, I know we do, and so if you're going to be one of those people where you're going to be on the road a lot, maybe it's going to cost you a little bit more because you'll do more charging away from home. But anyone that's driving around town 6 or more days a week, 50 miles or less, they're going to be able to do all of their charging at home, the vast majority of their charging at home, and they're going to be charging at their lower electric rate than what these charging networks charge. You know, they talked about the fees, and you know, you might recoup that if you charge enough. And I know that there's this you know, charge by the session versus charge by the time versus charge by the kilowatt. I mean, the different states have some different, there's some ways to manage it. Which charging tier do you fall into? Which none of that stuff you have to worry about if you have a Tesla, although the cost to supercharge does vary by location. So you don't, it's not like you can go, oh, Tesla always charges 21 cents per kilowatt hour or something. It does vary. But let's see, where was I going next with that? I know what I was going to say. Even the people that travel a lot, they still often leave from their home. So they've got that 80%, 90%, 100% charge depending on their needs and where the next charging station is. So they've still got that first, let's say 200 to 300 miles without having to charge away from home. So even if they charge once during the day and say they charge back up to 50% to get them back to the house at the end of the day, they still are going to have done 60 or 70% of their charging at home. So they still have that cheaper cost. So I just thought the article I thought it tried to sway it to make it sound like charging EVs costs more than filling your car up with gas, which is not the message we need to be getting out there to people. And because it's not, in most cases, the vast majority of cases, it's not true. So yeah, I was a little upset. I may have done some math, and I posted pictures and all the numbers on Facebook, but just to my friends. So you know, any of you guys that leave regular comments that I sort of know who you are, if you're on Facebook and you send me a friend request, I'll respond. But I don't generally respond to people that, I'm sure I don't respond to people that I don't know. But if you're a regular and you've left me comments and you find me on Facebook, then I generally accept the request. I'm good with that. But not people I don't know. Obviously, want them on my personal Facebook feed. But anyway, you know, I've got local friends that know I drive the car, and they need to know that, you know, they put out, see this confusing thing. I mean, the study may have had some good data. It may have been good data for non-Teslas. It may have been good data for the Electrify American network. It may have applied some to the Tesla supercharger and Teslas, but it certainly wasn't totally applicable in a lot of cases. So I don't know, trying to get the real information out there, the real take on it, with real data from a real driver with real miles. So I guess 10.3 rolled out Saturday night and then got pulled back pretty quick, but I saw a tweet from Elon this morning that said that 10.3.1 had rolled out now, so hopefully that will go more smoothly. That's why it's a beta program. Been there, have shipped something not right and had to scramble to get it fixed. Yeah, that is not a good day in the software support team, level 2 development, that change team. That is not a good day. That was one of the things that we would get dinged on most heavily. You know, it's like development would get dinged on the number of fixes they shipped in the original product, but then the change team would get dinged on any fixes they shipped that had errors in them. And yeah, that was not a good thing. But hopefully 10.3.1 will be much better. And it seemed like they were able to turn it around really quick, so that's good too. So prices at the fair this year, for those of you in the US or maybe UK or Australia, wherever you're watching from, they had gone up. Parking used to be $10 or $15 for a premium, one of the businesses there, spot. It was $20 last night. Well, I don't see the work crew here yet this morning, but their equipment's here, so they're obviously not done.
Grass seed.
Yeah, they did put some grass seed down, and we can see the little tiny seeds on the asphalt. Well, they aren't mowing the grass today, but they are getting the ball fields ready for games. And maybe they'll still mow, but I guess the temperatures have dropped and the grass isn't growing as fast. I'm certainly noticing that at the house too. Not done mowing for the year. We're really never done mowing for the year here, but we're reduced mowing now, at least. Now we just get to do his leaf season. Don and I both had near 20,000 steps yesterday.
Well, I had 22,000.
Well, it's not fair. He has a longer stride, and I'm up and doing more than he ever is, and he always has more steps than me. So yeah, it's just totally not fair. But we walked a lot yesterday, and we just moved fast, jogged through that little stretch back there, through the S curves. The fun part of the trail if we were on, if we were driving it. Yeah, I started to tell you guys about, just to compare costs, and said that, you know, Don, it cost him $20 to park. It was $13 for tickets at the gate last night. Now you could buy them in advance cheaper, but not much. And that is certainly up over the $5, $6, $7. They used to want to get you into the fair at all costs, so the tickets were really cheap. Now the tickets aren't so cheap. And then the wristband for your arm, if you wanted unlimited rides, was $40, which is probably not that bad of a deal if you really plan to stay a long time and you're not there when it's so crowded you can't, you know, the lines are too long to move through the rides very quickly. But otherwise, tickets for the rides, it's $1 per ticket, but you need 5 or more tickets for most rides. So probably about the cheapest ride there is going to cost you $3 or $4 over in Kittyland. And some of those big Ferris wheels and stuff, they're approaching $10 a person. So, and let's not even talk about the food prices. So, you know, you basically cannot take a family of 4 to the fair for under $150. And that would be not fully doing probably everything everybody wanted to do. It just, well, I mean, in little kids, a family of 4, just a few ride tickets. But yeah, 4 people times a ride ticket wristband, that's $160 right there, and that doesn't count anything else. So we certainly let Johnny have most of the chunk of our allotted fair expense yesterday, and he did have a really good time with his friends. That was good. It was huge crowd last night, but you know, he was traveling a pack of 4 or 5 guys that he knew really well and had done things with before. So like Adventure Landing, where they do the mini carts and the mini golf and the little go-karts. But yeah, so the fair was open, and it was, you know, it was fun. But it's, you know, you could go to Carowinds for less than you could, or, you know, one of the Six Flags theme parks for less than you could go to the fair, or certainly equivalent. So inflation hit the fair too, I guess, in short, is what I was trying to say.
Alrighty, 5,934 steps, 52 minutes, 22 seconds, 2.76 miles, and it's 19 minutes flat per mile.
We'll take it.
Yeah, I guess so.
We did pick up a lot of trash again, and some of it we had to walk farther off of the track than normal.
Yeah.
So a lot of trash on the playground today, more than normal over there.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I'm gonna head to the house. I love you. Kiss, kiss.
I love you too. Kiss, kiss. My phone said we were gonna have a brief rain shower at 9:44. It's currently 9:46. If it doesn't rain before I get home, that works good for me. I'm sure whatever it was going to be light. It doesn't look super threatening right now. Well, I guess it's a good thing we got home from our walk before this happened. We've been home about 10 or 15 minutes now. We really need the rain, so yay! Hi, Panther. I'll protect you. Hi, bud. Well, that 100,000 Tesla order from Hertz didn't hurt the already stock price. Yeah, that's interesting news. I was trying to understand in the one Wall Street Journal article I read how fast they thought they were going to get those 100,000 vehicles, because isn't that like a tenth of Tesla's current capable output? I'm not sure how we're figuring in Tesla, Texas and Berlin, but at any point, yeah, that's a lot of cars. That's a nice order. That was sweet, and the stock sure was and is looking good today. And so is the sky now. It felt really humid when I came out of the house. The sun burning off the water. Ruby says it's 77, but she might not be done climbing the temperature up to accurate after leaving the garage. It was 74 though. Okay, now she says it's 78. Yeah, I'm thinking it's around 80 out there. It certainly felt 80 with the humidity. Not that refreshing, cool front move through after the storm kind of a feel. It was more that, oh my goodness, it feels a little bit like summer out there again today. So I got the fair part of yesterday's video content sent off to render. It'll be hours before it's ready, but it's out there. And went through all the photos and did all of the necessary behind the scenes stuff to put them where they're supposed to be. And that was about all I did at the house, because that took like 2.5 hours. But that's all right. I mean, I had stuff I could have done on my Lego house, but this needed to be done. I still want to do a memorial video for Mittens. That's very important to Johnny and to me. And I needed to get the fair stuff processed through. And there's Lego parts coming today that I kind of really need to conveniently, straightforward timeline, can go back to work on the house. So yeah, those lime green 2x2 floor tiles. Should be in the mailbox when I get back. I am on time, and between the pretty sunny day, the good news in the last few days about all of my blood work, and that Tesla stock price, I am in a particularly good mood. Either that, or it could be the third cup of coffee I decided to drink this afternoon on the way into town. I should have napped for 15 or 30 minutes this morning because we had such a busy day, busy weekend, short night last night, and I was tired while I was working on the fair video, but I just didn't want to fall. I wanted to get it done. And so I was pretty sleepy when I left it. You know, I'm always ready to fall asleep for my afternoon nap right when I have to jump in the car to go get Johnny. It's just the way it works. And I'm not really much for taking the time out to rest in the middle of the day, not unless I just don't have a choice. So I learned something new today from my son. You can determine how often your calendar gets updated and shows on the screen. We have now switched my calendar to always. I got home and dropped Johnny off. I'm actually headed up to Walmart to give blood. Don and I will try to coordinate again, probably the week after Christmas. Or he can go when he's eligible, which will be sooner than I will be eligible. Well, hopefully there's not a wait, but it is what it is. It's 5:45 p.m. and I think I left home at 3:30, and the only thing I did was donate blood. I am totally happy with those people down there. They were working as hard as they could. They had a lot of donors today, which we have a critical need, so that's fantastic. And they basically, the one girl had to stay with me and baby the needle in my arm so that the flow wouldn't slow up. That vein now, unfortunately, it moves around a bit. But I donated. She sucked the blood out of me in the minimum amount of, or maximum amount of time, within the limit, whatever the right way to say that is. It's 15 minutes, by the way. Don always fills his bag in like 8 or 9 minutes because he's just an overachiever at the blood drive all the way around. But anyway, I did successfully donate, and I'm on my way home, but dinner may be a little late now. All right, time to plug in so I won't forget for tomorrow. I'll be all ready to go. I may have gotten a few Lego parts today, and one of the people sent me Legos in a Halloween mailer. That's so cute. Don says, finally I'm feeding him. He wasn't impatient with me. It wasn't my fault. It took a long time up there, but he's happy to be having some deviled eggs.
I'm sorry that she had such a hard time.
So, number one, local Tesla owners on Slack, everybody, and Facebook too, everybody's so excited. Number two, how could it be bad for Hertz? Because every Tesla owner that hasn't been able to secure a Tesla loaner for service or while their car is being repaired from an accident will want to rent a Tesla. Don says if we ever go on vacation and we would need a rental car, we would absolutely basically pay whatever Hertz wants to get a Tesla wherever we're going, assuming one's available, that we would really want to do that. I mean, why would we want to drive a non-Tesla?
Why?
Don also said free advertising.
Yep.
All EV drivers probably would prefer an EV over a non-EV. So again, you know, even ID4, Mach-E, whatever, i3, they're all gonna, they would all probably would want to get a rental that's an EV. So it just doesn't seem how this can be bad. I guess there was a little bit of talk of, well, if your date for your Model Y got pushed out, this could be why. We don't really know that, right?
Yeah, well, the other thing is I think it'll be interesting to see what, like the key card. Is Hertz going to do key cards, or do you log into the Hertz account on your phone, and in there is the quote, the little bit of the key card for the car, so that you can turn on air conditioning, do all the things that you can do with your Tesla app from your Hertz app. It'll be interesting to see what how much software they put on there. It's Don's brother. He'll call JB right back. Yeah. Sorry, JB. Yeah. So, I'm like, what's buzzing? What's buzzing? Don's phone never goes off. Right. Yeah. Don had said that, or we were laughing. I was in the kitchen. We were shouting back and forth that Elon promised us our profile would move with us from Tesla to Tesla. I understand the seats is not going to be super
convenient in between, you know, the seat on an X, the same position as the seat on a 3, or where would you adjust it? But I guess you could still figure, you could put in your profile, I'm a tall guy with long legs, or they would have a couple of criteria that it would use to decide where to put your seat. But he really needs to get off his you know what and get that software thing is now urgent.
Yep.
Because if I got to go from Ruby and go get in this other car, I'm going to prefer, highly be valued, that my profile stuff will follow me. So come on, Elon. That was like 2 years ago now, bud. Easy. Let's get her done. Let's get her done. Don and I are willing to help. We always say that, but it's actually sincere. But, you know, yeah. JB's probably calling to ask you about all this Tesla news, and if it's as good as the media is making it out to be, which is...
even down in Florida, he's probably heard by now.
Yes, I think so.
Dixie County.
God.